All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming. Just wrapping up the season. Really appreciative of our seniors, how hard they played, and great leadership from these guys. There's a lot of kids that are going to leave here and be very successful in their lives. It was a tough year to be a senior and have a great attitude and great effort like they gave was really a testament to their character, and very appreciative of those guys. Got a good football team coming back. One of the things that we're going to benefit from that we didn't expect were some seniors that will now be coming back to us that we've redshirted, like Roy Lopez, Sage Dockstader, Anthony Muse. So there's several of those guys that we were anticipating losing this year. Now all of a sudden they're going to be back for next year. So that's one of the benefits of some of the injuries and things like that we had this year. Moving forward, I think we've got a great opportunity here with the base of players that we have coming back. Saw some guys really emerge that are going to be phenomenal players here, like Rashi Hodge. I think can be a game-changing player for us. Jason Simmons, a freshman that played a lot defensive back. Just to name a few guys that really stood out for us. We're off to a very good start in recruiting. I think we've really made some inroads there. We had 7 guys here for official visits for the UTEP game, and that turned out to be a great weekend for us, and got some good-looking guys out of that. So we're going to hit the ground running really hard recruiting here right now and see if we can add to our football team and get back in that bowl game, which is where we want to be. Any questions?
Where do you feel like the biggest needs are right now, coaching and recruiting?
Yeah, I think Adam, on the defensive side, it's in the secondary. We've got we're losing a couple really good defensive backs. We had a lot of seniors, so we're actively recruiting hard in the secondary. Offensively, it's more in the wide receiver area right now. We're losing a couple of guys that played a lot of football here, O.J. Clark and Lottie, some of those guys. So it's never been hard for us to recruit quality receivers because of the style of offense and things like that, and I think we're off to a good start there. But those two areas are paramount. We're always looking for defensive linemen, we're always looking for offensive linemen, but we've got to fill a lot of needs in those two areas.
So, is that you think that those are areas that you're going to address, like JC wise, because you need like receivers and secondary players to come in and play that away?
Yeah, I mean, we'd still like to recruit some high school kids there too, but certainly there'll be some junior college players there. We've got 2 commitments right now from 2 corners that'll be here at mid-semester in the sprint for spring ball, so that's big. And a lot of wide receivers that we're recruiting right now are some junior college guys, and there'll be some high school guys mixed in there. We don't want to just go strictly junior college, because you want to have guys you're going to be around to develop for 4 and 5 years too. But hopefully we can get some junior college guys that can give us some immediate help.
But do you feel like maybe you have to do that more than previous, because like you said, it seems like you have some experience coming back and an easier schedule or a more manageable schedule.
Yeah, well, in the secondary, we certainly need junior college guys. We need some guys who are going to be here for spring practice. And like I say, we've already got 2 committed, and so we're off to a good start there. Receiver-wise, I'd like to have a couple of junior college guys that could be here for spring ball, but we'd also like to have a couple of high school guys in the mix there also to keep developing.
At running back, you got to see Samuels in practice all year, and then Juwan Price. He played really well on special teams. I mean, is he ready to step in?
Yeah, that's a great point, Adam. Amari Samuels is, man, I'll tell you what now, you talk about playing strong and playing with a lot of passion. I mean, he's going to bring something to the table. He's got a lot of toughness to him. Obviously, he has speed. Kid started off at Michigan and transferred back here, and we're glad to have him. He's got one of the best attitudes of any player I've been around, too. Reminds me of Rashi Hodge, Rashi just loves to play football, or Omari just loves to play football and wants to be coached, and is a team guy. And, down on our scout team, he was phenomenal against our defense this year. So, yeah, he's going to be something special. Juwan, you're exactly right. He really showed up in special teams. He played in 4 games, so we still redshirted him. But he was making tackles on the punt team. He was making tackles on the kickoff team. And it was really interesting watching him in practice. By making those plays, it turned a switch on with him. All of a sudden he was looking better as a running back in practice. And we all know he's got tremendous speed and those type of things. So those 2 guys are going to be really really good for us. And then we have Navion Mitchell coming back also that we can slide into the backfield and a receiver. So I don't think we'll skip a beat at the running back position other than, Huntley's speed is something that's hard to replace, but we've got quality players there.
For both sides of the ball, do you, like, as we sit here today, do you feel like you have the pieces that you need to play the way you want to on both sides of the ball?
Jason, we got some developing to do, I think. We've really fallen off throwing the ball offensively. We only threw, I think, 14 touchdown passes this year, which is, way below where we need to be. We've got to throw the ball much better than what we did this year. So every job is up, for competition this spring. Every job. Nobody has a starting job here. So we've got some young players that we've recruited that we want to look at. Weston Egan is a young quarterback here. We've redshirted this year that he's got the best arm of any quarterback we've got here, and he'll compete. And like I say, any junior college players and anybody else in any other position, everybody knows their jobs are up for grabs. But I think we've got a base here to where we can play like we want to play. Biggest thing for us offensively is we can't turn the ball over like we did this year. That was just, never gave ourselves a chance and just beat ourselves. Defensively, we've got to keep guys healthy. We're a much better, different team when Roy Lopez is in there than when he's not, obviously, right? Jemias Williams, same thing. So we've got to add to those guys, and then we got to keep those guys healthy.
You mentioned it there at the end, but, turnovers were surprising. You did have injuries on the offensive line, but maybe, I don't know, we expected a little bit unknowns on offense. But the defense, you had a lot of good players.
Mm-hmm.
Was that surprising to you to see their performance? And does, where do they have to be next year?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is we got to play the run better. Yeah, we went back to the days when people just hand the ball off against us and up and down the field, and that's what it all stops there for any defense anywhere. You have to be able to stop the run. So we got to get bigger, we got to get stronger up front. Like I said, we got to keep Roy healthy because he and Jemias, they both played in 4 games this year. So we need those 2 guys out there. We're just a better team, and we'll get back to that. I think we've got the talent here to do it. We've got some young guys here that we've redshirted. We got a couple of junior college guys that didn't play much this year because of injuries, like Tevin McAdams, a defensive end that's going to be really good. So we just got to put the pieces together in spring. It's going to be a very physical spring. It's going to have to be a lot of scrimmaging. We're just going to have to change the way we've done spring practice here. It can't be about fundamentals and just individual stuff. We've got to get out and play the game. And we got to see what quarterback is going to emerge and handle things and play the game the right way. So I want to put them in as many game situations as we possibly can.
As we sit here right now, is the staff going to be the same role and stuff next year?
I hope so. I would just say this: loyalty is a really big thing with me, and this coaching staff has been extremely loyal to New Mexico State and extremely loyal to me. And they're good men, they're great coaches. They're the only assistant coaches in 57 years that have been able to get this place into a bowl game. And it's the same guys that got us to the bowl game. So I hope they all come back. And they're going to get opportunities because there's some really bright young coaches here especially that are getting noticed, whether it's, style of play that we use or recruiting. They're making names for themselves. And we'll lose some guys eventually to that, but I'm hopeful that they'll all be back.
You utilized the grad transfer rule with Tony Nicholson.
Mm-hmm.
How intriguing is that? And because it worked out with Tony, do you look at that a little more maybe in some positions?
Yeah, I think we're always looking at that, Adam. And Tony did work out great, and he really had a fantastic year for us. And I think you got to do a lot of research on those guys. We did a grad transfer a couple years ago on a quarterback that didn't work out. We did Tony that did work out. I think it's the type of kid you get and where they're coming from. Tony was a perfect fit for us. So, yeah, we're going to look at that. We're looking at the transfer portal. I think, again, you got to be careful about how you recruit out of there. SMU is kind of a good study. They've done a great job of recruiting transfers into their program. But they're really specific how they're doing it. They're looking at FCS kids that are moving up, that have played FCS ball and proven that they could probably play at a higher level. and they're looking at power conference kids that maybe just got beat out at the place they were and they're looking for an opportunity to play. But they don't take any group of 5 guys. I thought that was interesting, and they don't do that because they think the group of 5 guys that are in transfer portal are there because they're disgruntled or because they weren't good enough to play, which is probably true. So they stay away from those guys. And so I think the transfer portal is a thing it's new, and coaches are still trying to figure out how to use it and how to utilize it. And but I think they're off to a good start at SMU, and we're trying to model a couple of things after them on that. So we'll see where that goes.
Are there any guys that you can tell us have either gone since the season ended or have expressed that they might go into the transfer?
Right now I don't know of anybody, Jason, but there's always going to be 1 or 2. I think we had 2 last year, Bryce Roberts and I can't remember the other ones. It's 2 tight ends last year, and both went in the transfer portal. Neither one of them got any scholarships anywhere. They both ended up having to walk on to other schools. So, but there's always going to be 1 or 2. A kid gets homesick or whatever. But so far, I don't know of anybody.
What is your, you mentioned more live work and stuff like that. If you had to say 1 or 2 spring focuses, what would they be?
Yeah, I think it's being physical, being pads as much as we possibly can be. I want to make things like a game as much as possible. I think something with our kids that they don't play the same in a game as they do in practice, and I think simulating the game more would help us. So what we're planning on doing is when we do go to teamwork, even if it's not a scrimmage, if it's teamwork, is get the coaches off the field, put them on the sideline just like a game, get some noise coming over the PA system so that you can't yell out and tell them what to do. They've got to learn what they're doing. So just things to create more game-type atmosphere and game-type situations for our guys. I think that's going to be the biggest key for us this spring.
Would you say that the offensive line going into the offseason, it was maybe a question mark last year, but now it seems like, and you had some players sit out last year that I know you guys like too, freshmen. So has that gone to a strength of the team next year maybe?
I think we've definitely got more depth there than we've ever had. The 3 freshmen, Carson Ferris, Marlon Johnson, and Fedler are going to be great players, and I would anticipate that all 3 of those guys are going to compete for a starting job. So somebody that played this year may get beat out, by those guys, and that's a healthy thing. I think we definitely have more depth in the offensive line than we've ever had. And, to get a guy like Tafoya, Evan Tafoya was a guy we really were counting on him playing last year. He tore his ACL the first day of practice. So to get him back, I don't know that he'll be back for spring ball, but probably soon after that he should be, adds to it also.
Ken, do you have anything for Coach?
I just was obviously talked about the the turnovers and stuff. The injuries were obvious, but having looked at it for another year and with you guys having to play this independent schedule, is there anything else that you're thinking about changing, schematically or anything like that?
No, I don't think so, Ken. The biggest thing we've got to convince our team is that we've got to make other people beat us. We just can't beat ourselves, and that's what we did this year, just repeatedly with the turnovers. And I don't know if we could have been a 6 or 7 win team this year with the schedule we played and everything, but we certainly could have won 4 or 5 if we just don't beat ourselves alone, if we just get that done with the turnovers or lack of turnovers. So those are things that we're going to have to really work on. Again, like Jason brought up, our style of play, we really got away from offensively this year because of the turnovers. We actually became more of a conservative offense, and I just don't think we can win like that here. We've got to score points here. We've got to throw the football, and we got to be really good and effective throwing the ball. And we've proven when we do that, we can win and go to bowl games. So we just got to find the right guys at the right positions and make sure we can get back to playing that style.
Okay, thank you.
Coach, have you had a chance to self-evaluate? Because obviously, the pressure's on you to do the best job possible, and the results are what they are at the end of the season. But have you had a chance to look in the mirror and just self-evaluate what you think you've done for the year?
Yeah, I think, Tom, I think you do that even week by week as you go on through the season. And, we really changed probably the week before the Ole Miss game. We changed how we were practicing to more padded practices, full pads, a lot more physical. And that's one thing that if I said I made one mistake, it was probably that. Looking at our schedule before the season, I really felt like, we're going to have to back off our guys in practice a little bit to keep everybody healthy, especially the start of the season with, Washington State, Alabama, San Diego State. Those were going to be 3 really physical games. And looking back on it, and, that was a mistake. We needed to just, don't worry about injuries and just practice the way we need to practice, which is physical, and we would play better. To our players' credit, when we did that mid-season, they responded to it, and we won 2 of our last 3, and they could have easily rebelled against that, but they didn't. So that's one area that I certainly regret, that I wish we would have handled better. And I'm sure there'll be other things, and to answer your question, there's time to think about that more as we go along here, but I know that's one thing that I really would like to do over.